Dailies today.
Dailies today.
On 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Good morning to you, Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome to the second part of Dailies today, and we're live from our studios on Etimi and Christian Victoria Island, Lagos, Nigeria. I'm Sheriff Quadry.
And I'm Jimi. Disu. Good morning.
You can watch us live on Facebook and on YouTube. Nigeria Info 99.3 is how you can locate us on the two platforms, Facebook, YouTube. Let's start from here. The Vanguard newspaper is our first paper this morning. Hardship ahead NLC rally. Protest rock Edo, Lagos, Oshun. You find similar story on page 4 of the Daily Trust. Protest in Lagos, Oshun, Edo over hardship.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
now, I'd like to thank Kofi Battles for one thing he did this morning, and that is to explain to people, because I'd also fallen victim to the fact that what you have today is a protest, is not a strike. Even in my own head, at the recesses of my head, I had joined the two together that there'll be no work. No, they're going to have a protest rally. That's what it is. They will rally around some sensitive areas to galvanize people and make their point. And so ahead of the rally, they said there was a pre-rally yesterday. And some of the riders that came from the rally, fix economy or resign, CSOs in Edo tell Tinubu, will defend protest nationwide. That is police headquarters. And also, police have placed men on red alert across Nigeria and warns imposters against hijack. Okay? And then CSOs ask members, Nigerians, to join the NLC protest. Yesterday's protest was a prelude to today's one. It's like you want to test the waters, practice. And Mr. Femi Falana, SAN, has written the Attorney General, has asked him to urge the police to provide security protection for NLC members who will participate in today's protest. Is a right. You can protest. You know, it's not an offense to protest. More so when you're giving enough notice. And it's not enough for some people to come and some agencies to tell you can't protest. They must have a very good reason for doing so. Anyway, so Falana has said, look, you need to provide, which I also I agree. Remember I said last week that people need to excel. There's what is happening in Nigeria is, you know what it's like sometimes when you shake a fizzy drink is corked and you shake it. You know, sometimes when you can shake it up to a point the cork will come out by itself and go off with a loud bang. We don't want that to happen. Let people at least give them an opportunity to express themselves. So so there's a pre-rally yesterday. It's the Daily Trust, which has northern interests, says that protests in Lagos, Oshun, Edo over hardship. Okay, and so and the riders are that maritime workers to join LSE protests to shut seaports. It has now strike has now joined. Kano, Kwara, Niger, Plateau, Bayelsa, Bauchi, NLC set for protests. And the trust also reports that the IGP has put officers on red alert. And TUC says that the federal government should commence importation of food. I keep saying that the issue we have is not about food, it's the money to buy it. Even if you crash prices of food down to 10%, some people still, the minimum wage is 30,000. 30,000 can't get anything. So it's not a question of food scarcity. That's the propaganda to divert your mind. The problem really is the economy is in complete tatters. And over the weekend, I think the president set up some economic council that visited him. There are quite a number of what I would call popular people there. I just looked at the list and I smiled. And why did I smile? Because I smiled that some of the people who got us into the mess we are in today are in that panel. You know, some of the people who have compromised are in that panel. So I wondered why the president why he didn't have more professionals in the panel. But there's so many economists that you could put, and people of repute The fact that you are a billionaire or multi-billionaire doesn't make you a man of repute. That is one distinction we always say that once you have money, is a big man. No. What you need now are people who know their onions and who are voted to the country, not the people who compromise the country. You don't have them to come out. They will look at what else is left in the cookie jar. What will find, no. But he probably did it in good faith. It wasn't properly advised. Maybe it's not about popular people. It's not about billionaires. Some of them don't even have the education. Because what you have now is high tech, it's technical. You need people with a sound economic background. How can a man who didn't pass schools be in a committee like that? Don't ask me who. So it's not about billionaires. We have that, and somehow we seem to throw the same people at every problem. The same set of people, we quickly drag them down. And these people are sharks, they're buccaneers. But let's at least, let's see how far it will go. Maybe there might be, but this rally, I think it should go on. It should please go on peacefully, so that we don't. Once it doesn't go on peacefully, it distorts the whole environment, and the whole purpose is defeated. So you should be able to go on. There one went on in the other day. They agreed amongst themselves: no name calling, no abuses, no this, no that, and that. And let's hope the police will be. The police realize that they will benefit from this anyway, because all of us go to the same market. But not all of us have the opportunity of being at a checkpoint.
Yeah. The police in Lagos State, what they said, is that they don't want a protest whereby you hinder other people from going about their normal duties.
That's their job.
This thing. So that's what the police said.
It's their job to, after all, when the president comes, just one man, you dabaru the whole state, put everything on hold. We, the people now, want to express our feelings. The same should apply. So the police, with last man and everybody, should make sure that they create way for people who want to go. That's not an excuse. They should also realize, and I'm sure police who are hearing, you will benefit. How much salary do you get? Don't we all go to the same market? We are not quarreling. It is within our rights for us to tell these people that have held us down that enough is enough. You don't do that. And even they know that it was the sacrifice of others that put them in the position of being politicians today. So if today you say we shouldn't whatever, if other people hadn't done that, including some of them hadn't done that in the past, you still be under the jackboot of the military. So that excuse doesn't hold water for me. If you can close a whole state down because the president is coming, one man, this is the masses. They just all we want to do is express our grievances and produce a yellow card. But I'm looking forward to when our people will learn to use the Constitution, learn to use the National Assembly and put them to good use. You can force your senator and House of Reps to do your bidding because it's representing you. But that's the story for another day. Let's move on to the next.
Let's take our next story.
Yes.
Right. We're going to go to the page 2 of the Punch, but it's on the front page here. 12 years after Tinubu adopts Orasaya report, merges agencies.
Well, he's put his name in a good place of history, to be fair to him in this one. He's put his name in a good place of history, and he's given it 6 weeks for it to comment. It was long overdue. Long overdue. You set up a panel for 12 years, you don't do anything. Baba, I don't know. Baba just abandoned things like that. But so I think what his name will go down in history. What he needs to make sure that his name goes down in history properly is the implementation. And there's somebody here who keeps there's somebody here who keeps insisting. Is the Minister for Information. He keeps insisting that there will be no job losses. Job losses was part of the package to have a tighter government. So stop giving false promises. There will be job losses. What is mostly because you have to look at the welfare of the generality of all. The civil service is bloated. It's bloated. Okay, it's bloated. There must be some pain in this, and what is most important is for you to say that all those who lose their jobs will be well catered for, all their package and whatever, and you can do what is called, I don't know if it still exists now. I remember it, when I was in Liverpool, something called a Greenfield exercise, where you relieve people of their jobs not on who they are, but on the positions that they hold. For instance, you could say, okay, if this agency is scrapped, you no longer need 6 directors. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's not a case of it was Yoruba people or outside. No. You could do what you call it, but stop giving false hope that there will be job losses. And civil servants need to brace themselves because there'll be a lot of mergers. If there were not going to be job losses, what would have been the point of mergers in the first instance?
Right.
Right. But I'm happy that Tinubu has done this. I'm happy. It's long overdue. It will help bring some balance to the assessment some of us have of him. It will help put it in some kind of balance. I don't want to waste time saying, reading all the things that are here. I think it's in all the papers, and it's in the front page news for today. So,
all right, let's go to the news page, the Metro page of the Punch.
2 suspected burglars nabbed in Ogun. Youth protest hardship, high cost of living in Lagos. You see, they are coming in fits and starts. Police probe death of 7 in Benue cult clash. Man arrested for killing friend in Ondo. Okay, 16 kidnapped victims rescued in Kogi. And Lagos State, now listen to this one very carefully, Lagosians. The Lagos State government has jailed 27 offenders arrested on pedestrian bridges. What were they doing? The Environmental Sanitation Corps, known as KAI, secured the conviction of 27 suspected miscreants arrested for unlawful conversion of pedestrian bridges in the state to their abode. So they now live on the pedestrian bridges. I wonder why they didn't just shoo them away. There's a housing problem, and it's worldwide. It's not peculiar to Nigeria, but it's worldwide. You have a large number of homeless people. I would have loved if they just shoot them away and told them, look, rather than now get them arrested, because they were each sentenced to 5 months imprisonment. You go and load the prisons with by the time these ones come out now, they'll become hardened criminals. Anyway, Lagos Ghanaian firm partner on waste management. LASTMA to sanction officers operating with yellow buses. LASTMA has warned its officers against moving in yellow buses while on traffic enforcement duty, otherwise known as downfall. Okay, the spokesperson for the agency, Adebayo Taufik, said members of the public should report to the agency any officer found doing this. So if you see them operating, for the sake of our state, just take a photograph and send it to the necessary quarters. I thought I had Daily Trust here. Yes, I do.
Yes, you do.
Let me quickly read that before we move on to the next one. 3 siblings suffocate inside car in Kwara. A boy and 2 girls. 2 p.m. They had locked themselves in a car and they got suffocated. Lagos records long BRT queues after transport fare cut. Kano man stabbed for playing football in the street. Quite interesting. Otherwise, other stories are crime. They're all crime related. Crime, and crime. Okay.
Right. Let's move on to the Vanguard page 4. This story is pretty interesting, right? Afeni Ferry to Fashion. You can't oppose Yoruba rights to protest against hardship.
I don't know why people even bother. Some of these people don't have the influence you believe that they will. What is it? Who can Afeni Ferry direct on anything? We are burning time here. What you should know, though, as an individual, is that the interests of these people are different from your own interests. Okay, you know what goes on, or like Ratata will say, you know what are going. When they tell you, don't protest, don't this thing, you are not. Your value is not the same with theirs. I'm not talking of values. Your value, economic value, is not the same with theirs. It is true that people are suffering in this country, but some are suffering more than others. In fact, some are not suffering at all. I'm sure some of you saw a video that went viral of the woman who took the pastor to question, who said we should pray, and she said, Baba, you're not suffering, your children are not suffering. You saw the video?
Yes, of course I did.
So, know thyself. Forget a lot of these people. They said Fashion Roti said that Yorubas should not demonstrate. He is free to say that. You see, A lot of the so-called power that people have need to be tested. They need to be tested. Someone says that he wants to have Yoruba nation. That has nothing to do with me. I'm happy where I am. I know my problem is not Nigeria. My problem is localized. If I'm going to have Yoruba nation with the current Yoruba leadership, I better go back to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But don't let's start that one here now. So we need to test these things. When people just come out and say, "Allah, we are not you and your people." Yes, you can say that. Well, I'm in Lagosian, so that makes it a bit different. When they get it, Eko is different. Okay, all right. So there's this, this ongoing argument about Ruben Fatoroti, who called on Yoruba people not to join the protest. Are you going to feed them? Are you going to provide things for them? We know what goes down in some of these things that you people say, and by now, I'm surprised that they continue to embarrass themselves by saying this. You're a big man. Do you know what people are suffering? They are not going to scatter anywhere. They just want to express themselves. They want to excel. Because you see, if you don't let these things happen under a controlled environment, you will have yourself to blame. If you're a student of history, trust me. Find out how the French Revolution started over the price of bread in a local area. Before you knew it, it spread. Look at the Arab Spring. So people must excel. They must express themselves. So it's something to be managed. And so the Ferry and Fashion Rotty can keep their fight out of the newspapers and let's breathe.
Now, this is even much more interesting. How to help your child over gadget addiction.
Yes, I knew you look at me with the second eye because I have a gadget addiction. I don't know how I'm going to solve it. I'm always with and on my phone. If I'm not with and on my phone, I'm on the computer. If I'm not on, I'm always, it must be one gadget. And some of the things, okay, so sitting down here, I have 2 phones, expensive phones. I have 2 iPads. I have computers in every part of my room, in my house. And I said, in case the news breaks, let me quickly be able to tap this. You just pile up gadgets and live with them. I don't know, somebody's going to have to help me out of that. But this article tells you how you can help your children over gadget addiction. Your children have it. Most of the time, you're called like, Chola. His mouth open, he's playing game or whatever on the phone. And of course, education, whatever. So I'd advise that you read this article. It's in the Punch. It's on page 11 of the Punch. And it talks about talking to your child. You have to talk to your child and put them under control with the gadgets. You have to monitor your child's online activity. That's very, very important. Porn sites and nonsense, things like that. You have to. Then you have to be a good role model. That is where I would have failed as a parent, but luckily I don't have any. My children are grown. I would have failed as a parent. But be a good role model and then make time for your children. Thank God I'm not, at least so far, I don't have any children. Maybe there could still be a stray bullet or accidental discharge. You never know. But
can you handle it?
If I have a child now?
Yes.
I have children that can handle it.
You are not going to transfer your responsibility to them.
No, it's too late in the day for you for me to raise a child. I'm too old in the sense that my disposition towards children. Now I can't afford to see a child cry.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Unlike back in the day when I would whip them and whatever. I can't do all that. I indulge. Now at my age, I to indulge children, give them ice cream, give them everything that they want. But I have a backup should that happen. It's not over till it's over. You never know when you might have children. Do you know? Can you say?
Something tells me that you know that you yourself, you know that you are done.
No, I wish I'm done, but that's why it's called. That's why it's called accidental discharge or stray bullet. Like my late Egmont Wahab Dosumu would say, Jimi stray bullet. I miss Wahab. I tell you, Jimi, look at my head to me. Who is he? I'm going to give my head to the secretariat. It's stray bullet. But for a man, it's not over till it's over. One slip and you're gone.
Yeah.
We are talking real terms now. We are not. But it's not a disaster if I have a child now. It'll be good.
You know, sorry to go back to this story, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think that it's very easy to get addicted to one's gadget these days.
I'm
'Cause
addicted.
You kind of like find out that the moment you drop your phone like this, it's almost like the world has happened.
Yes. It's not even that. It's the rate at which you use the toilet at night, you pick up your phone. That's why I don't get enough sleep. I forgot to say the other day that.
Yeah.
So I tried by saying, okay, when I'm going to bed, go to bed at 10 o'clock and put your phone somewhere else. When you go to the loo, you want to say, let me check the windows. Then you pick your phone again. I'd even like to talk to a doctor, really.
Yeah.
For us to sit down here and talk about how I have it. A lot of us have it. We don't want to admit. I'm admitting my own. I'm always with my phone. Always.
Yeah, I am too,
Under the excuse that I'm a journalist.
Well, maybe that's not really an excuse because it's your job, to be honest.
It's your job, but you can control it. What happened in the days when there were no phones?
So the funny thing is, because a lot of things were happening then,
Yes.
you know, and we didn't have access to them,
Yes.
doesn't mean that a whole lot more.
Yes.
You're not experiencing a whole lot more now that you
Yes.
need to have access to right now, because those things that were happening
Yes.
were put in, you know, very close to you via your mobile phone, because you should see them. In the event that you didn't get to see them before you maybe arrive at the studio and everything, and then you're hearing things, you're like, that has happened. It has happened. You will be like, do I even know what I'm doing?
I'm addicted. I'm addicted to from childhood. I've always been a techie, even when there were no techie things in those days. With Lego, you know, the toys that we had. Whilst other people were busy playing sway and whatever, I like things like Lego, things like Meccano, building. You know, I've always been. And then I loved cars. When you see me buy cars these days, you are happy with the other day. I've had it from childhood. I used to go and sit with one mechanic then called Uncle James. They called him Uncle James. He had this mechanic whatever. I used to go and sit down with them until one day, the day I stopped going there, he's listening now. I'm sure he's old now, but he's listening. Or somebody will tell him, Uncle James, I tell you what you did, your people did to me. You know what Yorubas call a rodon?
Yeah.
So they just called me and said, Jimi Joba mi loba panel and tell him to give you so. I went to panel. Panel said, the thing is with the wire. I went to the wire. The wire said, no, it's with that boy selling papers down the road. So I went there. They said good afternoon, sir. They said I should bring a road on. You have to. When I got to a point, I just quietly went home.
I do not know
It was later.
who taught all of them that thing. Oh my God.
Those are the things that turn you into a man.
I fell for that thing multiple times without even knowing.
So when you hear that people had a denied childhood,
Yeah.
these are the things that from these things are put into society. They tell you, for example, if you draw a line and the fly falls on it, your mother will die. Some people, I remember one of us whose mother been delivered, he drew that, took the flag.
Why would he do that?
And he would be beating black and blue. These are the things that if you find at adulthood, you know, people completely misbehaving. It's called denied childhood. They were denied these little things that form character. I went home in annoyance now, about 1.5 hours. You know, I just went home and avoided the place the next day. That he said on Milano, I hadn't until I mentioned it to. I think I mentioned it to Brother Ayo. You know, we had all these uncles, Brother Ayo. They said, you don't know what I wrote down is. Maybe I should try it on somebody.
My own is that anytime Mom said we'll go.
Yes.
And then the woman will just say, the woman was a tailor.
Yes.
The woman will just say, because she will say, go to Yadai, go and tell her to give you a road. The woman, and she was always walking. She was saying, hey, I rode on. That is where we would be from morning till night.
And your mom will have a beauty sleep. Maybe she wanted to sleep to get out of the house.
We'll be there from morning till night. Oh my God. Let's take this health-wise.
You know, let me a quick one. You know this debate thing that we have.
Yeah.
This debate.
I beg to differ.
I beg to differ. I used to debate a lot in school.
Yeah.
I debated from my school right from 3 with Fola Adeola. You know, 2 of us were like a tag team. And I remember the first time I got a brief What was the brief? We were supposed to go and debate at Holy Child of Kings, so they said building castles in the air. I took it literally. I goofed big time. I took it literally. How can you build castles in the air? Where will you lay the foundation? Health-wise, this is very, very important. Health-wise, your weekly diet on health. Dirty ACs may cause asthma, allergies. Dirty ACs, make sure you clean your ACs regularly. Auxiliary nurses train in fuel quackery in medical profession. Then medical experts have said that the reduction in consumption of alcohol beverages occasioned by hardship in the country is a blessing in disguise, as it will reduce the risk of non-communicable diseases among Nigerians. It says low alcohol consumption may reduce non-communicable disease, says experts.
That's good.
Tokubo Fabanwo, professor of medicine, chief medical director of Lasuth, says that 10,000 patients seek care in Lasuth daily.
10,000.
Ari, let me read this again.
No.
The medical director, Lasuth, Professor Adetokunbo Adebawo, says no fewer than 10,000 patients are treated daily at the different clinics of the tertiary institution. What? He disclosed this in an exclusive interview with The Punch while reacting to the complaint of long waiting hours. This complaint of long waiting hours is worldwide. It's worldwide. The world is overpopulated. The NHS in the UK has virtually almost collapsed.
I learned even in Canada, some Nigerians are coming home.
There was a man who was given 6 weeks with a toothache extraction. He removed it himself. It was in the Daily Mail. He removed it with his wife. Then he now went to emergency. They had to treat him. But he removed it himself. So we just have to be patient. You have to, if you have the opportunity, make use of insurance, health insurance. It's helping me a lot. So you can use private facilities. But if and to be fair to Lasuth, I think they're doing fairly well within, what we can provide. I think they're doing fairly well. And 10,000 is frightening.
It is actually. That's
10,000 is frightening.
That's a huge number.
10,000 is frightening.
But we have to go now.
This one is very important. Feeding babies adult milk may cause obesity.
Feeding baby adult milk.
Feeding babies adult milk. Instead of you to breastfeed a child or whatever, you now give them milk. Maybe that condensed milk. Maybe just blows them up.
How would anybody do that? Anyways, we have to go. We really must go. But you'll be back at 9, right?
Yes, there's a crisis in the vehicle market.
Okay.
There's a crisis in the used vehicle market. In another 2-3 months, there'll be no cars for people to buy. So I'm bringing my friend from Autotech to come and talk about it.
Fantastic. Lagos, that's our show. He's back at 9. Kofi is next on the Morning Crossfire. Stay here, please.
This is the most talked about talk station in Nigeria.
Ask my husband to do something. He doesn't want to. He has been a lazy man all his life.
Nigerians think raising children should just end up with domestic chores. We're not talking about cognitive abilities, travel to Mars and the sun and the moon. We're thinking of pounding yam and cooking soup.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
It's not just the news or
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens.